Anybody have a need for speed?
Not particularly.
Okay, because we all see them. Those drivers, they're whizzing past you way above the posted speed limit, either on highways or residential streets. And it can get frustrating. Ben and Priya, I know you came from Halifax, you now live in the city. Ben, you live in the city. What do you think when you're seeing these speeders?
In residential areas, it does bug me. It affects me. I live in a neighborhood just adjacent to another neighborhood where a young girl was killed by a speeding car a few years ago. And so it affected everyone in the community. We're very, very sensitive to how fast people are going. When you're driving through residential streets, if you have a need for speed, you are playing with fire. Yeah. Highways, I'm a little bit different with. I personally think the posted speed is too slow.
Okay.
It's too low. I think cars are safer, cars are faster. So by definition, we should be able to go a little faster. That's my take on it.
Interesting.
Okay,
what about you, Priya?
That's fair. I agree with you. In residential areas, or especially school zones, when you see people speeding, I mean, it's so dangerous, and especially when there are a lot of kids around. I find that very concerning. As someone I don't have a car right now in the city, so I've been walking a lot. I have noticed especially a lot of speeding, like through yellow lights, right as the light's about to turn red. So I feel like I'm a lot more conscious of it these days.
Especially because you're a pedestrian now at this point. Well, I wanted to take a look at an example, because earlier this month, a Manitoba driver was charged nearly $1,800 after driving, get this, 125 kilometers in a 60 construction zone. Wow. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at today, speeding fines and how they vary across Canada. You're seeing here the RCMP actually tweeted about this fine because they wanted to get the message out that, if you're going to speed, we want to make sure it hurts your wallet because like you said, Ben, sometimes lives are lost due to speeding. But that's not the only example. In fact, just recently, last week in Nova Scotia, police actually documented a young Quebec man who was allegedly caught driving, get this, 232 kilometers an hour on the Trans-Canada Highway. That's over 120 kilometers over the speed limit. This man was actually 19 years old. He was from Quebec. He was charged with a fine of just over $2,400, and his license was suspended and his vehicle seized.
That's appropriate.
Yes.
Well, that's dangerous.
Yeah, it is. But look, if the posted speed limit is 100 and you're driving on a relatively empty highway and the rules are already in place to ensure that you are not distracted. We have distracted driving rules.
Yeah.
Like, you are telling me it is illegal for me to do anything but be focused on the road. I am doing that. I am in a car that has airbags everywhere, as do most of the other cars. We have sensors around us that did not exist years ago. Why the speed limit has not kept up with the technology that keeps us safe, it doesn't make any sense to me. As well as the penalties for not being safe. We have more of those now. So
we have seen a progression in terms of speeding fines, and I wanted to take a look at that because basically in this country, it differs from province to province, but there are 6 provinces in Canada. Alberta is one of them, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, PEI, and the Northwest Territories, including territories, that fines increase for each kilometer that you go over the speed limit. So in terms of that, where you can actually get the lowest speed ticket for going 1 kilometer over the speed limit is actually in Ontario, where the fine is $17.50. Now, the highest minimum ticket actually comes from Nova Scotia, and they have a sliding scale. So if you go anywhere between 1 to 15 kilometers over the speeding limit, you pay a minimum of $233.
I think that's stupid. I think that's way over the top.
That's a lot.
You think so?
I absolutely. You're going 1 kilometer over the speed limit, you're paying almost $250 to get 2 demerit points? That's nuts.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, Ontario, while they start low, it actually progresses pretty high. So if you go 50 kilometers over the speed limit, you can face a fine anywhere between $2,000 to $10,000. So, I mean, while some provinces have that sliding scale, and for many people, that might not be what you like, other provinces which do each kilometer, you can rake up a high fine. But again, it is to deter people from driving reckless and to protect people's safety.
What about giving a little discretion to the cops, though, for them to determine these sorts of things?
It's an interesting take. So, Canada, here's your turn to have your take, and use that hashtag, your take. Are speeding fines in your community too high or too low? Sound off right now on social media